Alright, welcome back to another painting tutorial for my Ultramarines army. This is the Scout Squad and Landspeeder Storm, which is now a dedicated transport in the new codex. And I've had this model for quite some time, and I really think it's a neat idea having the embarked guys sort of built into there. You obviously don't have to build it with them, but I really wanted to just because I think it looks a lot more characterful. And then I have the matching squad there on foot. So I did painted them up at the same time because I wanted them to match, and I also wanted everything to be ready to go at the same time. So the basic paints here are the same as the rest of my Ultramarines army. I'm using Army Painter spray to do a base coat, and then the blues are kind of these ones here. Basic silvers, some gold, black, and grays and whatever. So for the armor on here, I did mostly just dry brushing actually, just to get the texture going, and I used some weathering powders from Vallejo at the very end to give it a weathered look, and some paint chips. So I didn't really use these too much, but depending what kind of look you're going for, if you're airbrushing or something like that, those would be helpful. Silver detail, just your basic silver. I did sort of a black coat on there first, and then dry brushed on my silvers because I wanted it to be real quick and a lot of surface, so I didn't really want to spend a ton of time on that. And plus I figure all the attention is going to go on the guys. And then for the paint chips, which is the same as on the armor of these guys, what I do is I paint Calgar blue, so that's the lightest highlight. So if I wanted to paint chip, say on this edge, I'd paint Calgar blue like that. Sort of outlining everything, and then Rhinox hide is going to be just slightly inside that, and you fill that in, and then Rune Fang is just sort of the edge there. So you can see that here you have a sort of a halo of Calgar, so that went on first, and then Rhinox hide just on the inside, and then Rune Fang mostly just along the edge, and then scattered out a bit just to look like some chips. So I did those here and there, not too many of them, as well as on these guys, kind of the edge of the shoulder pads and that sort of stuff, just to give them a bit of a weathered look. So for the individual guys, blue armor, so like that. So I didn't spray paint these guys blue to start with, so they use that true blue sort of layering. The gold details, so it's mostly just their chest shield, and I think there's some stuff on the gauntlets and side of some of the bolters, and the Imperial Eagle on the front of the Landspeeder. Silver, so on the bolt gun, their breathing apparatus, that sort of thing. White, so I actually use decals, but if there was white on these guys, for the shoulder pads, they should have had a sort of a white circle with the lettering on the inside. I didn't bother doing that circle, I just put the decal right on. And black on some of the bolters. Fabric, so there's no purity seals on these guys, but the fabric, that's just their pants, and flesh, your basic flesh tones. Okay, so to start off, some of my scouts were salvaged from other areas. Got some guys used, so they're repainted. All the guys in here for the crew, I spray painted them gray primer to start with, and this got the Army Painter blue. And then I went through and I painted all the interior just black real quick, thinned down some black so it went on easier and quicker. And then I dry brushed that silver as much as I could. So what that does is just gives me a nice, it brings up some of the texture, but gives me a nice base color, and then I'll touch things up. Now for the Landspeeder itself, you can see dry brushing and picking out the edges there, so it just gives it a bit more depth. I didn't bother doing any layering on this at all. Just relied on the dry brushing to build up some of those colors. Just base coating up the crew and doing all the guys at the same time. So I've got my bolt gun colors there, my blues, my fabric, and some of my boots and that sort of thing. And just from the reverse side there. So yeah, we've got all my base colors done. Everything's ready to go, and can start doing some washes. Before the washes, I painted these sort of a middle gray just to make the seats look like they're some sort of a padding, and I'll give that a black wash. Okay, so got my wash on the pants there, so that's I think that's Agrax Earthshade. Just wanted to use the same one as the rest of the stuff. So using Agrax Earthshade for the gold, and then actually it's probably the Sepia wash. Whatever you have will work. and so starting to do the highlights up on the pants, and going to be highlighting up the gold, that sort of thing. So you can see I like to do everything, all the base coats up to the wash at the same time, do the washes, and then start building up the layers. I find that that allows me to touch up other areas if I don't exactly get them right, and fix things up as I go. So I've got my decals for the Landspeeder all cut out, and just a drop of water there, and just let them soak. Before I did that, though, I put a layer of gloss on any area that was going to get a decal, just so that they would sit on there better. Highlighting up some of the browns. I only did one highlight on those. I wanted to be nice, deep, sort of a rich brown there. Highlighting up some of the flesh. You can see the decals are on there now. I used Micro Sol and Micro Set to put those on, but for some reason everything kind of messed up on these decals. I don't know if they're old decals or something like that, but you'll see some of the silvering happening on them, and not really sure exactly what I did wrong, but it didn't quite turn out the way they should have. Okay, so highlighting up the black on the bolter there. I got my flesh tones done. These guys are almost ready. Just finishing up, just have to do my gold highlights, and I've got my edge highlighting there with my light blue, Calgar blue, and now I'm going to start gluing guys in. So I could have done the paint chipping before that, but I really wanted to glue this all together, so I just used some super glue, made sure everything dry fitted first, which I did do before I started painting anything at all, and just put some glue wherever any contact points were going to be. And yeah, just really neat model. If you weren't going to put the crew in, I'm not sure what you do with a heavy bolter, because it's kind of as if this guy's taking it with him. So I'm not sure what people do if they are showing it as disembarked, because the heavy bolter guy stays there in theory, but in reality he's one of the guys that gets disembarked. He's part of the 5 guys in there. And so yeah, just showing each guy as they're glued in. Where they kind of stand. There's a bit of a gap there, which is unfortunate. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll slip something under there, maybe some maps or something. But yeah, just really love how these guys all go in there. Kind of like how the Dark Eldar are hanging off their vehicles, which I'm not sure how I'm going to do on mine. I haven't put them on yet. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm starting the paint chipping, so you can see the extra bit of Calgar blue around there, and I've done some other areas around here, some don't show up as well. And then I'm doing the Rhinox hide just on the inside of them, so you can see better there. A little bit of a halo around the outside, and it should be rough, so I don't want it to be exactly around there, but you can see all the areas where I'm going to be doing the paint chipping. And then after that, I just used the Runefang steel to paint on the inside, and it's nice and shiny. And then I went around with some of the yellow ochre weathering powders from Vallejo. And the reason I use that one is because my bases are a light color, and I just wanted to kind of look like they're on a dusty planet of some sort. So yeah, really cool model. Probably not that competitive, but I think it's worth it to paint something like this up. It looks really different from the rest of the tactical marines that Ultramarines are going to have lots of. And there you can see some of the silvering from those. So I'm not sure what happened. I used, I did all the right steps to use the gloss varnish to start with, use the Microsol, Microset in the right orders, and did an extra layer of it, and then coated it at the end. So not really sure. Sometimes they just don't work out. So yeah, really fun model to paint up. Paints up pretty quickly, especially since I didn't spend a ton of time on the vehicle. I figured there's enough details that I didn't need to overdo them by painting every single thing specially. But now it's part of my Ultramarines collection. And yeah, these guys, not a ton of detail on the faces, but nice tabletop standard. Looks decent up close. But maybe not the greatest in these pictures. And there we are, all done. My disembarked and embarked troops. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any comments or any questions, feel free to leave them in the section below. Otherwise, I'll just keep working on my Ultramarines, and yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and check out my other videos.